that this lady is the foremost woman amongst the women of paradise, Sayyidatun Nisa'i al-Jannah. And this lady is also the chief and the mistress of the women of the world, from the beginning till the end. Sayyidatun Nisa'i al-Alameen. This particular individual resembled the Prophet of Islam in the way he spoke and in the way he walked. This particular individual was the most beloved female to the Holy Prophet, to the extent that every time he would come from a battle, an expedition, or any particular journey, she would be the first that he would visit and see. And when he was about to leave, she would be the last that he would bid farewell to. She reminded him of the fragrance of Jannah. She enjoyed a high status within Islamic teachings. Indeed, this lady was the crystallization and the embodiment of piety, devotion, sincerity, sacrifice. She was an individual who truly brought happiness to the hearts of the Holy Prophet and to the hearts of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. And as of course, Imam al-Askari, the 11th holy Imam of the Ahlul Bayt, states, Nahnu hujjatullahi fil ard. We are the proofs of Allah on this earth. Of Fatima, hujjatun alayna. And Fatima is the proof of Allah on us, the Ummah alayhi salam. When we come to examine and we recall the illustrious life of the Lady of Light, Sayyidatun Nisa Fatima Zahra alayhi salam, and when we mourn the calamities and the tragedy that befell upon her, the fact that her house was attacked, the fact that she was crushed between the wall and the door, the fact that this particular attack caused the miscarriage of her unborn son, Mohsen, the fact that the rights of her husband was taken away from her, the fact that she was martyred and her ribs were broken, all this is salamat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Amongst the important description that should remain with the discussion of the biography of Bibi Fatima, peace and blessing be upon her. So when we come to look at this personality, when we honor the Lady of Light, Sayyidatun Nisa, the daughter of Rasulullah, who should be undoubtedly honored and revered by millions, she should not stand in any comparison with any other woman in the history of Islam. Why? Because since the Quran praises her in numerous places, and because there was no other woman who was in such a status and position, the same thing as the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajahum.
Sayyid Qadim al-Qalwini, he is an author detailing the lives of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. And he wrote about a book, one of the most famous books is called Fatima from birth towards the grave. And when he wrote about this book, he details the illustrious biography of Sayyidah Fatima. When he was about to pass away, or in his will, he asked that a copy of this book will be placed next to him when he is buried. So when we are told that he was passed away, he was buried. And like approximately 17 years later, because he had requested that his body was transferred to the holy city of Karbala, they opened up the grave and they saw this. And they saw this is even documented even on YouTube, on videos that can be found on the internet, that they saw that his body was completely intact. There was nothing that has happened to his body at all, because this was the one who adheres to you, O Ahlul Bayt, will never be disappointed. And at the same time, they will gain immunity, they will gain support, they will gain success. This is not a statement. This has been something which has been demonstrated through time and throughout the people who have adhered to the free, immaculate family of the Holy Prophet, peace and blessing be upon them all. If truly, if people respected Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, what they come few days after his death to the house of his daughter, Fatima sallallahu alayha, and threatened to burn it down. I mean, leave everything alone, leave religion aside here for a minute. If a person comes and saves another person was about to die, drown, he actually saves him. And what will you say to that? What would you pay back to the individual? How would you pay back that individual? Nine people were ordered to come and attack the house of Rasulullah, Bibi Fatima, and led by a person. He came and he shouted out from behind the door, "Get out or I will burn this house." But inside the house is Fatima. Fatima's inside the house. So they said, "So what? We will threaten to burn the house down." So that's when then Fatima then stood behind the door of her house. And then that's when the individual then attacked the door. Now even the Quran tells us, do not enter the houses until you seek permission for entrance. And this is not any ordinary house, this is the house of Nabuwa. And he attacked that house. And then Fatima fell behind the door. As Zubair came out carrying his sword, but the sword fell from him. So when the sword fell, they captured him. Then Amir al-Mu'mineen came out of the house, and then they gathered all the ropes around him, and they were taking him to the masjid. And right there, as everything is being seen by Imam Hassan alayhi salam, Imam Hussein and Bibi Zainab and Kulthum, they're watching the whole thing right there. These little grandchildren of Rasulullah are seeing their mother Fatima, the lady who Rasulullah used to kiss her hand every time he would come into her and visit her house. But now she is behind the door, in the state, and she fell down. Sheikh Abdul Zahra Kabi, may Allah bless his soul, a sheikh who died like 30 years ago or so. He used to recite in the haram of Imam Hussein, and he said, one night in the dream, I saw Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein. And then Imam Hussein told me, Ya Sheikh, why don't you read our Musibah? He says, say the Ibn Rasulullah, every time when I go in the haram, I recite your Musibah, your tragedy, you and Imam Hassan's tragedy. And then he said, Ya Sheikh, that is not really a Musibah. And what is your Musibah then? And then he said, yeah, and I'll recite it. And then he said, Ya Sheikh, on the day when they attacked the door, our mother Fatima, salamullahi qabri. When she tells the Imam, Ya Ali, bury me at night and conceal the location of my grave, it was an act of defiance. So no one can say that Fatima lent credence to the government of Abu Bakr. No one can say that. She challenged them. It was an act of defiance against that illegitimate government. But in addition to the fact that her concealment was also an act of defiance, it was also an act of hope. Because Fatima alayhi salam had hope that generation after generation, the Muslims will ask a fundamental question. A question that will take them from Islam to Iman. A question from those who say La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah to those who perfect their deed by saying La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah wa Aliyun waliyullah. Then she had hope that until the Lahore of the Imam, people will wander in Medina asking where is the grave of Zahra. Only Fatima can expose her by concealing her location of the grave. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad wa ajal